drama marketing and all the fun I've had this year on Twitter, I got to put that behind myself, okay? And I want my son to see how all these things come together. He tried the top step, he tried to do it and rushed, and because he was impulsive, he failed. Once he got funded, he blew it the very first trading day. It's easy to do that, and they're designed to do that. Okay, so he scratched up $5,000, and now he has that in an AMP Global account. That's a real regulated broker. Instead of taking whatever the fees that he paid to do Top Step, instead of doing that and limiting yourself to whatever that amount of money they force on you, and as you make money that trails behind you, that's like a trailed stop loss that strangles your trade. Here's your maximum daily loss. Okay, if your maximum daily loss is whatever it is when you first started trading your combine or your funded account, then it should stay there. Never trail behind. That tells you that these companies that do that, and Mr. Patak, I understand this probably isn't going to be good for your marketing or whatever, and I don't care. It's not meant to be ill-spirited, but that's really disingenuous. Because if you initially offer the opportunity that this is the maximum loss when you start the combine or you get the funded account, it should stay right there and it should never trail higher. Because what this does, and for the people that don't know any better, people that know how to trade and have traded with real money understand that these prop firm companies are Ponzi schemes. Okay, I understand there's a lot of you don't have the resources to put $5,000 together to throw into a real trading account. But Caleb has real money, $5,000 in a real account. He doesn't have to worry about that maximum loss following him up as he makes new equity. He doesn't have to worry about, trading a number of days before he can get his money out. If he makes 250 bucks today, tomorrow, sometime next week, he can take that 250 bucks out and pay it towards his bills. He doesn't have to do 5 days in a row profitable while they're trailing that stop loss of blowing the account right behind wherever you just recently made money, demo money. It's a fool's errand to try to trade in those companies, all of them. And you just watched another one go belly up because they're frauds, they're scammers, and he's offering up a $500,000 the bet on me not doing something or doing something. Guys, these people are frauds, man, and you're trusting them with your financial future. You're paying these educators. They're supposed to be so good at doing what they're doing, but they're panhandling for money to support you or support themselves through sales of courses and mentorships and whatnot. It's really time. It's high time for people to stand where they're at and sit still and say, okay, why am I even doing this? Am I in here to be part of a community where people look up to me and they glad hand with me and say, wow, I want to be like you? Clout, image? Or are you here so that way you can afford a better living, make your ends meet? Because that's what I'm offering. And I'm not saying it costs you anything, but time. It's going to cost you time. And that's the most expensive commodity. That's more expensive than any amount of money placed on anybody and what they would charge. One-time payment, monthly payments, it matters not. Time is the most expensive commodity. And when I teach you with my time. My time is extremely expensive. I made a joke that I was getting interviewed by Goldman Sachs. That was sarcasm. I was trying to be funny. I had a person email me and said, would you go to work for one of these large investment banks if they offered the opportunity to you? And I was like, no way. No way. I've had things laid in front of me in invitations for things, and I said no. I don't want to do those things because to work a job is slavery. I worked very, very hard and hurt myself financially and emotionally and psychologically in the beginning in the 90s, rushing to leave the rat race so I don't have to do those things. So my final contribution as an educator and teacher is simply doing. Just simply doing. No, trying to be funny or entertaining. We're sitting down. This is the market. This is what we're focusing on. This is the risks. This is what I'm willing to assume as risks. And this is what I'm not willing to assume. So there may be times where there's a market opportunity there, but the risk may not be applicable for what I'm inclined to take at that time. So you'll be able to watch it and observe it. But you'll also know when I'm actually in there with a real money type trade. I will be trading through TD Ameritrade for some markets. I will be trading with Forex.com with Forex. I will be trading with AMP Global for index futures. So there you go. I have no affiliation with any of them. I don't have any kickback. I don't tell you to trade with these companies. They all suck. How's that work for you? Okay. So there's no deal between me and anybody else. I'm not going to get a kickback. I'm not getting any kind of payments. I'm not getting kind of royalties. That's the companies I'm choosing to execute and clear my trades with in 2025. Okay, so that way you know that I am not trying to funnel you into any of these companies. I'm not an introducing broker. I would never be an introducing broker. That means that I'm acting as um, a person that would get you to open up an account with any individual broker, and then every time you take a trade, I would get some kind of little piece of that, kind of like all of the influencers that trade through prop firms and they have an affiliate link. I have students that do this. Okay, so I'm not dumping on any of you. I'm just reminding folks that I don't do those things. So if I ever say anything about a company or a product, I genuinely either don't like them, and here's the reason why I don't like them, or I like them, and here's the reason why I like them, and they don't pay me anything. Okay, I have companies all the time reaching out to me and asking me to do some kind of affiliate marketing, some kind of like a advertisement type thing, and if they're honest, they'll come forward and say, "Yeah, this is true because I offered him and he wouldn't take it," and there it is. But I want my opinions to be genuine. They're organic. That means that they are genuinely my unadulterated opinions. So that means I'm not influenced by the paycheck at the end because I can make lots and lots of money doing that. I have a lot of people following me and I have a lot of influence over a lot of you. So if I say, I would only trade with this broker. I would only trade with this prop firm. I would only do this with this forex trader, brokerage firm. A lot of you would only consider that because ICT said that this is the only one, and I understand that influence, and I never want to abuse that. I never will be accused of taking that and monetizing that for my own personal gain. To me, it would be very disingenuous, and I would love to find other people in the industry that are highly opinionated about certain things in the markets do those types of things. I would gravitate towards those individuals more than the people that have affiliate links because they're incentivized to talk about that company. They're incentivized. And truth be told, a lot of them trade through other companies, but they just won't talk about them because number one, they won't get financial gain. And two, they have a contractual obligation to only promote the things they have affiliate marketing through. So I don't do those types of things. I have zero to gain, nothing. I've already told you, download the videos. I'll make no ad revenue. How's that? That's business suicide. I don't need it. Don't you understand? I don't need it. But I love teaching and I love sharing. And I want you all to see what, after a number of years studying, what you should be focusing on and how a day in the life of a real trader, how does that happen? Like, I'm not going to pull up and show all kinds of cars and how I walk through my house from pajamas and make my coffee in the morning because I don't drink coffee. It causes dementia. Do some research, you'll find out. All these things that people do for attention, I live a very simple life. The markets consume a large part of my life, and it has been that way since I was 20. So when you all ask me to do like vlogs and show the world how I live and what I do every day. The markets consume my entire day. If I'm out and about, I'm on my phone checking the markets. If I'm inspired to share something to either encourage you or make you laugh or smile, because maybe the markets are being fickle. And just, I know you're struggling. You're probably thinking, man, it sucks right now. I ain't doing anything. And I'll do something to be funny. Okay. And sometimes people take that stuff and they run with it and make a whole conspiracy theory around it. And to simply allow me to make a joke once in a while, allow me to be sarcastic. Allow me to do those things because I'm a human being. I'm not AI. And while my is while I'm interested to always try to have an entertaining delivery, it's going to be very dry in 2025 because it's just business. I'm not in here doing any kind of shenanigans. It's just this is what I'm looking at and I'm focusing. That's all it is. There's going to be very little talking. It's going to be me simply saying what matters and that's it. So it's not going to be high entertainment value, but it's going to be real value in terms of what is ICT putting his money behind? Why is he doing it? Why am I focusing on this market? Why am I looking at soybeans and not wheat? Why am I looking at lean hogs and not live cattle? Why am I looking at high grade copper instead of silver? Why am I trading the 30-year bond or the 10-year note? Why am I trading pound futures and not Canadian dollar? Why am I doing these things? Not just simply, here's the trade I took, here's the dose. I'm going to dose you with reality. This is what a real trader does day by day. When the analysis is done, you're watching it being done. There's no extra stuff that on the side. This is all that is required when I make my decisions, and this is how I consider going into the marketplace. I'm going to teach you how orders are placed, how I choose what option that I trade, if I'm going to be trading a put option or a call option. I don't do all that complicated things like condors and straddles and strangles and calendar spreads. You can get nuts with options trading, and I tried to do all that stuff when I was in my mid 20s. Like I got really hooked on the idea of options trading, and I will admit to you, while I'm very mathematically inclined, my specialties are science and math. I've been a nerd in those two categories ever since I was a little boy. But I will readily admit and concede that the markets that are optioned and how all these strategies and the Greeks and whatnot, you can really get a little stupid with it. Like there are some extremely intelligent people out there that make consistent gains, and I would never be able to trade like them with options. And I have no shame in saying that. They are basically like phenomenons with it. And I've never been able to replicate the things that they've taught. I bought a lot of things in terms of courses and books and things. I've sat in individual sessions where it was trained, and I don't have any affinity for that level of complication. And to me, that is complicated trading. But there's not a lot of people doing that. There are some that are absolutely superheroes, like they're legends in terms of being able to make consistent profits, doing highly technical strategies with options. I just simply say, you know what? I just want to look at a market that I think is going to go up, and if I can get a cheap call option, and I'll teach you how I determine what is a cheap option. It's not complicated. Um, an option, if for the folks that don't know what that means, if you don't have a whole lot of money, if you don't have a whole lot of money to invest, you can trade options. And the strike price and the premium you pay for that option, if you think the market's going to go higher, obviously that you're most likely going to trade a call option. If you're just going to outright buy the option, a lot of people promote the idea, and it's true to some extent, that option writing is the most profitable, meaning that if you're the seller of options, you're selling premium. Meaning, a perfect example would be this. If I believe that high grade copper is going to go up, and say it's going to go up, you know, several hundred handles, okay? Um, if I believe that, I have a couple things I can do. I can be an option writer and sell put options. And the premium that I would collect by someone else buying the option that I'm taking the other side of the trade with, by me selling put options, a put option is someone that expects the profit to be made when the investment instrument drops in value. So the appreciation in terms of profit is afforded to them when the price moves lower. And if they are bullish on the market and they buy a call option, when the market goes higher, they're making profit by that. Okay, so the easiest way to remember is call up, put down. Okay, call up, put down. And while there are times where I would be interested in, if I'm extremely bullish, I could sell puts, take that premium that I've collected, half of that, and contribute that to buying long calls. And I'm okay with that risk because I know that the technicals behind what I'm looking for in certain conditions is more conducive for my trade to be profitable versus the risk that's associated with selling the premium on the puts. So what I'm saying is, and if you're brand new and don't know anything about options, I just completely lost you. I know, and I apologize. It's not my intentions here. But when I trade options, what I like to do is simply go long calls, okay, if I'm bullish, or just simply go out and buy a put option if I'm bearish. And I choose strike prices and length of time, how far out in the future do I use. Um, I also have done weekly option trading where I was trading individual stocks and I would trade or OEX options, which is something you'll learn about that in January. I'll actually have one video that talks about OEX weekly options trades, where if you can just simply collect some price movement in the option market there, you don't have to have the margin to trade an S&P contract. You don't have to worry about trading prop firm accounts because if you have a couple of $1,000s, you can parlay that up to whatever you want it to be by the end of Christmas. But you have to be consistent. You have to know what you're doing. And 2025 is not how many trades can ICT show you. It's which ones is he really focusing on with his money. And that to me is a testimony far beyond just simply me proving that I can time the market and I can do all these things. There's a lot of people out there that love taking shots at me. I like it. It's fun. When they exchange with me and you guys get mad because I'll respond to them and you probably gave me a compliment and at the best I may heart it or something to that effect, but I generally don't respond to it because I get too much of that. And I'm not saying I don't appreciate it. It just means that I know, I know what I'm doing is appreciated because the fact that you're watching me and listening to my content, that's enough. That's okay. But I love the sporting aspect of people talking crap about me. Like I love that. And what you don't realize is that motivates me. Like I love twisting the knife. I love finding new ways to show them they're wrong and that you're following the right person. You might not agree with the way I do it, but you have to understand that this is what makes my personality tick. It gives me the fuel to keep being ICT. It gives me the fuel because I'm bored otherwise. If everybody just says what you all collectively do all the time is, I appreciate it. I thank you for doing this. Yeah, it's great. I got it. Okay. I thank you. It's good. Wonderful. But it's just like, it sounds gratuitous at a time. And it sounds like I don't appreciate it. But the truth is, if you wake up every single day and 99% of the things that are sent to you in email or left in comments are, you're the god of trading, which I'm not. You're the best. You're the goat. You're this. It's like, come on, man. Like, it's a diabetic coma. So I like to look for the salty people because, like anything else, you eat a candy bar. Sometimes you need a drink of water and then something salty to kind of counteract it. So I use social media to help that. So I don't mind when people take shots at me. It's very good. It's a good thing for me. As an educator, it gives me fuel to keep going. Because if everybody just says all the time, this is the greatest thing in the world, it's like, you know what? I've already had people say that enough. I want people to challenge me. I want people to say, you know what? I don't believe that this could be done. I don't believe that you really did that trade. I don't believe that this was ever done with real money. I believe it's only demo. I like that because they provide me perfect little stages where I can say, okay, I'm going to schedule a rebuttal to that with this, and I'm going to do this with that. And it's just a way for me to engage with everyone. A lot of people that pretend to hate me don't really hate me. They just like to be able to take shots because they understand that it's fun. Some of them believe they get under my skin. It doesn't happen really. I like that to occur. I want that. And some of you that are trying to defend me, thinking that you're protecting me, you're not protecting me. I'm inspiring these people to say these things. If you really watch what I'm doing on X or Twitter in the past, I do these things to be inflammatory. I want these reactions. I want it. And I'm not monetized, so it's not because I'm making money. It's because I want them to give me new ideas because I may go through a rut as an educator. I might think, I have a dozen different things I want to start with next. And because I can't decide on where I want to go with it next, I'll just toss something out there in the ether on the internet. And the first person that brings something negative about it it usually will cause me to say, okay, here, I'm going to go that route, and I'll use this as a catalyst to teach something in rebuttal to that. So that's the rhyme and reason why ICT does what he does on social media. That's why I do it. And we're not going to see that in 2025. Just understand that. And for some of you, that's probably a welcome change. You're like, well, great. That's what I wanted to see all the time. But it doesn't mean I'm going to leave X. I'm not leaving X. X is going to be there for my playground. But the things I'm producing for 2025, there isn't going to be all the, um, shenanigans that I like to do all the time. It's just because I'm working with real money. I'm working with real money. I'm working on showcasing after learning everything on the YouTube channel and finally settling on whatever it is that you're going to settle in, whether you're going to be a future trader, a forex trader, now a commodity trader, what is it you're going to be focusing on, and what would it look like for you if you were a short-term trader? How many trades does ICT really try to take over the course of a week if he's short-term trading? I'm going to show you because if I say it, I've said it dozens of times over the years, and it's like I have so many responses and posts and videos. I've said these things before, but the questions usually pop up in redundant fashion where it's like I'm tired of answering it. So this way you actually see me dealing with real money. And there's no better way of answering those questions. So that's my plans for 2025. What would derail that? Well, if the Lord takes me home, obviously I can't be here for that, could I? But if something happens like Trump not making it physically into office on the 20th of January, and I'm not wishing any of that to happen, but that would be a little bit more problematic. That would take us back to what we've been seeing for the last 4 years, where it's just really crummy price action, a lot of just weird, you know, spiky type, high resistance liquidity run conditions, and a lot of it. And I will still make a go of 2025 the same way, regardless if he makes it there or not. But what I'm suggesting to you is that 2025 and 2026 are going to be banner years for people that know how to trade. They're going to be really, really good trading years because of the Trump effect, because he's bringing back to the forefront of everybody's mind that our nation is a corporation. It needs to be ran like one, and it needs to be responsible with the money that it spends, and it needs to be efficient, and it needs to remove the stones in its path. You can't travel efficiently and at a proper speed down a road that has lots of rocks and boulders in it. You have to clear that stuff out. And Trump's presence in the White House, while inflammatory to a lot of people, because they're ignorant, they have no idea. They think that the world's going to end for them. They think that women's rights are being stolen from them. They're not. Okay. If you want to go out there and murder babies, it's still available to you. Okay. You want to do those types of things, it's available to you. It's sick, it's disgusting, and that was where I was going to. That was my outcome. That's what my mother was going to do with me. That's what I was expected to have happen to me. And I had no way to stop that. I couldn't stop my mom from wanting to do that, but my father did. Not in the right way, but he did. He stopped her. So the people that are saying that women's rights are being stolen from them or kept from them, that's not true. And show me the facts where as counter to what I just said, because it's disgusting to see people on social media and in the news bloviate about these things that are not true. Stop looking at this one person and thinking that this person is hindering your personal life or holding your health choices back, because it's not. You know who was doing that? Obama. Obama was doing that, where they said that we had to pay for Obamacare. If you didn't pay for it, you're going to be taxed. And you had to do these types of things. You had to get a physical, or you had to pay more. Come on, man. That's stuff that it's my body, my choice. But you're going to be selective about it. In trading, use that same discernment. Your money, your choice. Who are you going to believe? Who are you going to believe? The course sellers out there that are rubbing your nose in the stuff that they put out there, that fecal matter, and you're paying for it. They're playing songs in their little promos. I get paid by stupid people. They're telling you who they are. and they're showcasing what they are. And they need your money. If your money stops, they can't live the way they live. And nobody's been sending me any money. Nobody's been sending me any money. And I still keep coming. I'm better than an Energizer battery. I keep going and going and going, and I don't ever run out of energy. When the Lord says, "You're done, son, come home," that's when ICT stops teaching and showcasing and being a part of the trading community. That's when ICT stops. That's when I stop. But I have an obligation. I made a deal. He did his part. I have to keep mine. And I don't know any other better way of doing it than simply sitting down like I did when people were paying me. This is what I'm looking at. This is what I believe is going to happen. This is what I think the market's going to do. And these are the types of scenarios that may come to fruition, and study and watch price action. When it does these things, then it should behave like this. And you have a free pass to watch and see if I'm right or wrong. And I will have receipts showing you this is what I lost. This is what I made. This is where I was right. This is where I was wrong. This is where I pyramided. This is when I didn't pyramid. This is where I took some of the trade off. And this is where I let the trade go to profit or collapsed it. You'll see all that stuff with real money accounts. I don't need to do these things. I don't need to do it. No one's asked me to do this. It just came on a whim this morning. it just came by inspiration, by a little boy talking in another country that can't be what he sees me as. And people look at me and they think, you have all this influence and you're a clown and you just do all these things. You don't keep your word. You don't keep your promise. I've already delivered all that stuff. I delivered all that stuff. But you want to see one thing and you ignore everything else. And that to me is astonishing. But next year, you're all going to choke on it. You're all going to choke on it because no one asked me to do what I'm about to do. But I'm going to show you how everybody else ain't nowhere close. And you need to stop paying these people. Everything you'd ever want to learn about trading is accessible on the internet for free. All you have to do is look for it. A lot of it's going to be found on my YouTube channel. And I've already reminded you, you don't need to watch my videos on my YouTube channel where it's monetized. Just simply download them. How is that? You'll never hear other YouTubers say that. Download my videos so that way I don't get ad revenue. Like, how many things do I have to prove to you that I'm not monetized by doing any of these things? I have to try to get something instead of letting YouTube Corporation, Google, collect all the ad revenue off of my videos. They didn't do the work. They didn't put the time in making those things. I did. So why is it fair for them, for me to post them and use them as a hosting service? Otherwise, I have to pay for a server, which is expensive. Why should I take that cost and incur it individually just so I can give it to you for free? No way. I'll put it up on YouTube and I'll cancel two things. I got money when my daughter does things foolishly and doesn't manage her money right. So I have a way of, here you go. I'm helping you out. You're making bad decisions financially. Here you go. Boom. And I don't have to keep dicking into my pocket because it's annoying. My daughter doesn't see things the way I would want her to see it. Hopefully in time she will. But that YouTube channel